Hi there. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm Barbara Gustafson with Discover Next Step Coaching. And what I've been doing the last couple weeks is highlighting businesses in the Fredericksburg area that are changing things up, and they're starting to get traction just because they're doing things differently. And I reached out to my friend Victoria Crolet just because I really like her situation. It's been hard on everyone, but I really like how she's taken her business and starting to transform it, and maybe some areas she wasn't expecting to. So I'll share a little bit about her before I have her share with us. I can't wait for her to tell us more. But Victoria grew up in Long Island, New York, and she later relocated to Tampa, where she went into a massage therapy program at Southwest Florida College and later became a yoga instructor. She's certified through the National Certification Board for Therapeutic Massage and Bodywork, as well as Virginia Board of Nursing as a certified massage therapist. And several years later, she studied at the Qigong, hopefully I'm saying that right, Institute in Brandon, Florida, and became a certified food healing facilitator. So she has a really cool background, and through the traditional massage therapy, yoga, and food healing, she's able to utilize her wild array of skills to provide a trio of wellness for her clients and loved ones. So welcome, Victoria. Glad you could join us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so before we get into some of the other questions, tell us how you're doing now. What has this whole crisis been like for you?
Sure. I have a business called Victoria V, um, and it's been open for a little over a year and a half. And of course, because of the pandemic, I had to close my doors, unfortunately, with close contact. So it was really difficult, especially in the beginning, not really knowing how I was going to um, survive, especially survive with my business. Um, but I have to say I'm grateful. I have really amazing clients. I've had people buy gift certificates and uh, people have other businesses have even donated money. And of course, we've talked about, I've went in a different route in terms of online classes too.
Yes. So tell us a little bit what that was like, because I know some businesses, they quickly shifted. At what point did you realize, okay, I have to do something now?
Actually, it was my food healing instructor who taught me, Jeff Primack. He put out a YouTube video um, on how to not necessarily cure the coronavirus, because we can't really say anything like that, but how we can potentially kill viruses. Um, and it had to do with lemons and limes. And it was just a very simple thing. It's something I always keep on hand in my house. And it started with me going live, which I never do on Facebook. And and I got a lot of interest. And of course, I have taught other classes in person before, and I just had to make a shift doing it online instead. So that one video gave me the idea that I need to give this information to more people that are out there. And
Mhm.
since we're all home, online was the best way to go.
Yeah. And what I love about that, and what I'm seeing a lot of people do, and I'm doing it myself, jumping in there and doing it and realizing there's a lot of people doing things that they're afraid to do. And I know for me, getting online, it's not like my favorite thing to do, but it's, you know, just knowing other people are doing it, you're not alone. That has helped me a lot. So I love that you were able to take something that, you've heard that was valuable, and just to share that a little bit. And I'm seeing more people through education. It doesn't have to be a ton of content. And what's interesting, I want to go back to what you said about, ways to really heal the body. I was having a conversation with a doctor a couple of weeks ago, and I was really curious as to his thoughts why we were getting so many more cases. And his feeling is our immune systems were already compromised. You know, if you look at the typical American diet compared to some other countries that haven't been impacted. So I would imagine this has created an opportunity, not that it wasn't there before, but in the aftermath of this, you know, when we're doing kind of cleanup through this, I would imagine this is going to provide you more opportunity through educating.
I think right now, the one of the biggest things we need to start focusing on is our immune systems. Um, Incorporating different fresh fruits, vegetables, herbs, and things like that that are going to elevate those levels in our body and kill off anything that is not good in there. So this is maybe like an eye opener for people to realize that we need to focus on our health right now.
Yeah. And I have to know, because I didn't see that video, what were some of the key components about the lemon and lime?
Sure. Lemon and limes are the highest milligram per gram of citric acid. And he was comparing the norovirus and the coronavirus. And there was a study done on the norovirus with citric acid. It had to be high levels. So really strong lemon lime water is going to break down the protein wall of the virus. So he was correlating that with potentially breaking down the protein wall of the coronavirus. And when you look at them side by side, they look very similar with their tentacles and how they appear. So the idea behind it was just to really strong citrus water every morning, or you can gargle with it.
That is so interesting, and something simple to do. So just like gargling it and then spitting it out.
Yeah, so they were saying that the virus can actually sit in the back of the throat before going down and replicating itself. So we can gargle with it to help kill it, flush it out of our mouth.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Very cool. That's so interesting. So do you have any other like advice or easy tips maybe that you've been doing at home with your family or just helping people, you know, during this time?
Yeah, there were um, so many things I have considered talking about with you today, but I really wanted to keep it simple. I think that, yes, we need to focus on incorporating, like I said, the fruits, vegetables, herbs to help boost our immunities. Um, but we also need to be focused on our mental health as well. So many people already struggle hard with depression and anxiety, and there are foods, of course, that can help with that. But I think that having mobility during this time, you know, we all kind of have felt so stuck in our homes. And I think the importance of going outside, the importance of stretching our bodies, breathing, all of that creates like that trio of wellness.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking about your background because you have a wealth of, you know, information running through you. I would imagine that you're, you know, like, wow, I'm so glad I went through this for this time.
Yes. I honestly, I have, before I started my business, I had my doubts thinking, where was I going in my life? Did I make the right choices in my path? And as much as I love alternative healing and massage therapy, you know, I have had these confirmations over the course of the 2 years, like, yes, you're going in the right direction. People need people like us to guide them, to educate them, to help them find a balance in their life. And I
Mhm.
think that the biggest thing we can do, to not just take care of our own bodies, you know, by taking care of our own bodies, we're taking care of the people around us. if we're less stressed, we put less stress on others.
That is so true. And I'm thinking here, because sometimes our minds get a little wonky. We tend to like give to other people, and we know we need to take care of ourselves, but we're usually the last people to do that for ourselves. And often we don't do that until it's not that it's too late, but we start really seeing physical signs and symptoms. And I know you're a big proponent on, you know, preventative, you know, keeping it at bay. And I am hugely like, I think it's so important that we give ourselves permission to honor our journey. And part of that is taking care of our mind, our body and soul, and brain. I think that's a huge piece of it too. So I'm really curious about your personal story of why you went into this. Would you mind sharing that?
So I got into massage because I used to work on my mom when I was a kid. I always had a knack for it.
Wow.
I played a lot of sports, and I'll never forget this lady. She was a trainer at the school. So let's say somebody got hurt, she would come out, she would fix them up. Well, one day she came out to fix up a friend, and I went to her office with her, and I got to see the work that she did, and it was like a light bulb went off in my head, and I was like, this is amazing work. Um, and in high school, I struggled a lot with bullying and like it just wasn't the greatest environment in high school in New York. And there was this one teacher who practiced yoga, who got me into philosophy and reading and eventually taking yoga before my track meets. So when I moved down to Florida, it was like I had all these little um, uh, tools that sort of molded me into what I do now.
That's so fascinating because usually people pick one track, but you went into several. And I think that's so cool. Your mom was your first patient. That's really great. Wow. So tell me what some things you have coming up that people might want to know about. I know you've got a big heart for the community. So I'd just love to hear about those.
Yeah, so I actually I have a couple really awesome things coming up. I plan to schedule my next class, um, and this one will be on anxiety and depression. I'm really excited about that one because I've taught it in person, and it was just a great class for everybody. Um, and and sometime soon, well, hopefully not too soon. I want to wait for this coronavirus to level out and people to feel more comfortable with coming in for massage. But I actually plan to um, block off an entire week to donate free massages to frontline workers, medical professionals, firemen, and police
Wow.
officers. So I know that if there is a group of people who need massage more than ever, especially after a stressful time, it will be them. So I'm really
Wow.
excited about that.
That's fantastic. And wow. And your class on, I think you said anxiety and depression. That's always been a need, but I think even more so as we're coming out of this. And what I'm finding is even people who are usually positive on top of the world are struggling, and there's no shame in it. There's just a lot going on. And so I'm really glad that you're providing that, just because that's going to really give people time to heal. And that's what, you know, once things do level off, we'll need time to heal and to honor ourselves to do that. So I'm really excited. Great. Well, it's so good to have you. What I'm going to be doing for those listening, feel free to reach out to Victoria. I'm going to post her links in the comments. So please reach out to her. Be looking out for her classes. And Victoria, thanks so much for joining us. It's been great talking to you.
Likewise. Thank you.